Hello, Art Aesthetics. Tiffany Cole here. I am an artist based in London, a figurative artist, and I am taking over your feed this week. So I will be here all week speaking to my art inspirations. The first talk of the week, Monday talk, is with artist Agnesgrochulska. She is a female figurative and portrait painter from Poland who now lives in the States. And she is such an inspiration to me. Her work is stunning. So hopefully I can introduce some of you to her work. So I'm just going to add her to the chat, and then I'm going to chat with her about her work and her inspirations as well. Hello, Agnes.
Hey, Tiffany.
How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me all right?
I can. This is a new background. You're in a new studio, yeah?
Yeah, it's a new background, new studio.
Beautiful.
New
How are you
space.
finding it?
I'm very excited. Yeah, it's large. It's right in the heart of the city. Because before my studio was attached to our house, so I was just always there.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. Yeah. No excuses.
That's right. No
everything I need. Yeah.
So now, do you find that you're in a bigger space that you want to start creating larger works?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the reasons that I was seeking a larger studio.
Yeah.
I want to go big, and I was even painting not large,
right,
kind of on a small scale. I was just outgrowing the space, just having my work everywhere around them.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, well, I have some questions for you that I'm totally curious about. So I'm a self-taught artist, and I always love to hear the feelings of other figurative artists about art school. I know you went to art school in Warsaw, and what was your experience in art school?
Yes, I did. I went to an art school, the Art Academy in Warsaw, and the funny or interesting thing is my major was actually industrial design. So it wasn't, the way it was set up though, everyone, so the whole Art Academy, no matter what program you were supposed to graduate from, the first couple of years, everyone took the same classes. So painting, drawing, sculpture, photography, the base, the grounds for art foundation, plus your major classes. So for me, it would be graphic design and technical drawing and things like that.
Interesting. So did that spur inspiration in you to go forward in figurative art?
That came kind of later. I mean, I always, you know what it is, which is the story of many artists. You love art, you want to paint or draw, and everyone else is telling you, and it's also on the back of your mind, like, what am I gonna do in life? Like paint paintings, and then what? So you think of some practical, ways and a degree that you can get and do art. So in my case, I always like making things, and I thought something like industrial design, like graphic design, would be something I will love, and I can, paint and draw at the same time. It was a little bit too technical, a little bit too client-oriented for my liking. Yeah. That's why, I ended up just doing art kind of for myself.
Interesting. So interesting. So do you feel that you learned a lot and that gave you a really good base as an artist going to art school?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes and no. So the way it's set up, and I think it's true in many European art schools. You enter the art school, there is a whole process leading to being accepted. It's like a contest kind of based. several weeks of first you enter your portfolio, you have interviews, then there are several weeks of practical exams where you like draw, paint, sculpt, and there is like cutoffs at each level. And then the few that eventually get in, there's a large number of people applying, and there are several, only few, really good but publicly funded art schools that you can get to. So the few chosen, I think my class was around 20 people for the whole major, are kind of expected to already have the basics behind them, either from art classes you took as a teenager. Very often, because it's such a rigorous process, people try several times. So you enter art school, the undergrad, at undergrad level, being already in your 20s, and you had all the time to kind of, work on your skills to get to. So we weren't really, you're not starting from the very bottom. You're not starting with the very basics. You're kind of, the understanding is, the anatomy. You already know, your shading and basics. You are here to practice more and go into the direction that you eventually will graduate with.
Interesting.
So it was more like an open kind of concept. We had models posing for us, and you were there to paint and draw. Or you had a still life set up, and you were there to paint it. There was a teacher, a professor, that would answer your questions, that would critique. There was a group critique at the end, but it wasn't something that, he would show you the steps, how to.
Interesting. Well, that actually sounds much better than other art schools I've heard of. So that's great. And I was wondering, like, when you were younger, when you were pursuing this, what artists inspired you? Since this week is all about inspiration, what artists inspired you to become a professional artist?
So, in the beginning as a child or a teenager, I had those heroes that I think we all admire, like Van Gogh and, Matisse, and those big names that you see in museums and you can't help but love. And then there comes a moment that you feel a little bit, everyone knows Van Gogh, I need to look for something more unique and deeper, and then you come back. Right, and then you come back to those big names, and you do understand why everyone loves them, and it's not for the starry night reasons, but much deeper ones.
The magic of the masters. I mean, just what you can pull from them and how they can be there for you when you're stuck on a piece is something I've recently just become so grateful for.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. And so another question I'd love to ask you, what was your experience like entering the professional art world as a female artist?
I don't know. I feel like I entered in really small steps. So the moment when I, started painting or went back to painting and drawing, because I took a long break. So I went to an art school. We left the country. My husband and we are both from Poland, and that's where I went to art school. But we left the country for his graduate program, first in Europe and then here in the United States. And I was busy raising family. So that was long years and years of not really doing any art, just being, immersed in the family life. And at the point when I had more time, children were growing up and I had time to kind of go slowly back, really slowly. It was here in the United States, in Richmond, Virginia, and just by slowly going to openings and art events, and I had the luck, the grace of a gallery approaching me, an owner, and asking to see some of my drawings that she saw online on other occasions. And from that, it was a small group show, and I started showing at this local gallery here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, you asked about the female perspective. It's the usual. you are less noticed as your male friends. But I don't know another perspective, so I don't have anything to compare it to. and the gallerist that took me on, she's a female gallerist, so that might and we are friends, and so that might play a role. She's a fantastic person.
And I love to hear that you started later in life. I mean, I didn't start drawing till I didn't even start in art till I was 25, 26. And I felt so behind because every person in all my contemporaries had been, drawing since they were 10. And I felt like I had to catch up so much. And how could I ever become a professional? It'll be too late. But it's really not the case.
So I definitely felt the same way when I, first went back to painting and drawing. I felt like I have to put myself through school, so to speak. I would paint every day for hours and kind of like doing my exercises, setting up still lifes for myself, going plein air, going to open studio drawing sessions and painting, like really kind of getting back to it. Yeah, step by step, catching up with the time.
It was probably the best advice I was ever given when I really went, okay, I'm going to pursue this. I'm not going to, try not to fall back on anything. I spoke to another artist I really admire, Cleo Newton, and I asked her, she's made it. I said, what's the secret? Like, do you have to have networking skills? Do you have to have this and that? And she said, you just need to treat it like it's your passion. Show up every day. Put that time in the studio. There's no magic button,
Right.
Hard work. There's nothing.
No, there is
no way to get around.
No other way. And I think for me it was also time. I was kind of thinking like, when, if not now?
Yes.
Like this is it. I'm gonna grab it and do it, or there's nothing to wait for.
Yes.
It's only gonna be later and later. Yeah.
That's right. That's beautiful. Okay. I know I sent this question to you. So your style and especially how it's evolving lately has really been affecting me and so just communicating something so deeply. And I was wondering,
So cool.
as an artist, for me, I'm always trying to obviously kind of duplicate the communication I have in my mind into the physical world. And I'm not always getting that right. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is part of one's journey as an artist, to sort of like see if one can, as you increase your technical skills, you're kind of moving closer and closer to, can I get that communication, duplicate what's in my head and get it out? So I was wondering what you feel inside and what is inspiring your work and the communication you're giving from that work.
So communication is a good word to use here, because I think this is what I'm kind of after. Not describing any reality. Not really sending my own message in a way of narrative. Like, there is nothing I want you to get from my painting that is like a certain story or a message. It's more of, like you said, communication. So I see the whole art process as a two-way thing, and a process in which the viewer finishes and really makes it a whole, that's the last part. And the messages I'm sending are just my ideas, and even for me they are loose ideas. I'm not thinking about a certain, it's like something, some emotion, some idea, very loose drawings. It often starts for me with loose drawings without any like preconception, you know, beforehand. Just like let's do it. Let's see what comes out of it, and then I see things. All right, I like that. I see how it feels. I see. I like the mood of it. How can I translate it into a painting? And then, you know, I'm trying to answer those questions for myself as composition, colors.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that the viewer will see some of it and then finish it up with their own experience. And each person differently, of course, with their own, and it depends on the time of their life, the stage they are at. For me, my own paintings mean different things at different times, different days, especially when you know, some significant amount of time passes. Absolutely. So I'm sure it's the same for other people. But if they do connect, if they feel, you know, anything, if they respond, if they say, oh, that's powerful. I don't know what it is, but I feel it. That's it. That's what I'm after.
It truly is that unexplainable, for lack of a better word, communication. I love how you said that. I see what I can feel from that. Yeah.
And the play and the interaction between the subjective and objective, because we all operate and see the world in metaphors, and especially so in art. So the metaphors and symbols I use, some of them will be read in a similar way by people, some will be completely different, sometimes even opposite. The last painting I posted, the second to last, I think, post, and I didn't even mean to ask people for response, but the way I titled it, the way I put the caption, I said, I'm thinking about a title or something like that, because I didn't have a title ready and I wanted to explain, oh, there is no title yet. But people beautifully responded with their own titles to that painting. And if you scroll and read through them, they are so broad, and you know, the same image is seen by different people in such different ways, from, you know, something overly happy and powerful and like a strong message to a sad and or I don't know, like desperate kind of you know, idea. That's what it really is.
What a cool way to gauge what people are thinking. Really. And totally unintentional. That's really, really interesting. Did any one particular name stick out to you? As
many. The problem is many. I love so many of them.
It can be the longest name painting in history.
Yeah. And since I didn't have a definite, a certain idea for that painting, just like, you know, I was telling some kind of, this is a second painting that in a series that I started that is loosely based on the theme of theater. Right. Theater is a metaphor, you know, for life, for our interactions between each other, and there is so much to take from it. So that painting, that particular painting, I was thinking about, you know, some kind of performer, a diva, a female, and what it kind of implies. The stage, you know, persona, the face we put on, the mask, and what's behind it, how completely opposite it could be, you know, in real life. But
what a perfect painting to ask people about, because there's
and then you see what they see in it.
Beautiful. And okay, well, thank you so much. That was a beautiful answer. So my last question is, do you use Instagram to find new contemporary artists, and are there any particular contemporary artists who you are looking to these days to inspire you?
I'm definitely, you know, looking. I'm scrolling, definitely, like everyone else. And there is a lot. There is a lot interesting, and Instagram is just perfect for that. How else would we know what's going on? A few names that come to my mind. Very often, it's not artists that work in similar you know, like a style or medium to me, but
Totally.
I'm really impressed and inspired. But what they do, it's abstract art
Yeah.
very often, installations, sculpture.
Mm.
I've listened to a few interviews recently with Julie Meritu, and I like her work. I like the way she's consequent with her ideas for years and years, the geopolitical, just kind of cartography of our world and interactions. And I love the way she explains them. So that would be one person. I recently I love anything colorful, and that's just because I'm using a lot of color in my work, and that came with time for me. I wasn't always like that, and then at some point I just really like felt like I'm craving, you know, the very vibrant colors. So I'm also drawn to artists who use a lot of color. And both from history, like Chaim Sutin and the German expressionists, to contemporary abstract and figurative painters.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you too. I found in my own work that originally when I approached the figure, my main goal was to get a sense of realism, to figure out that form and get it down so people knew what it was and it looked real. And now all I want to do is unlearn all of that.
And that's a natural process. That's a very, and even if you look at the, you know, the artists from history, especially with age, as they age, they go more abstract, or not even abstract, but more into some kind of distortion that is unique to their style and their way of seeing things. And when you feel a little more free from the realistic approach, and we all need to learn it, and very often we want to show off a little bit for ourselves and others that we can do it. So it looks like an apple.
Yeah.
or the person we're right. And then you feel like
you can break them well.
Exactly. And then you feel like maybe there is something more I want to say than this is an apple.
Exactly. Yeah, and that can be much harder to learn and to let yourself, you know, that journey to let yourself go is a beautiful journey. And when you get that right abstract mark down, woo, there's nothing better than that.
It feels good. It feels good. It feels like it's something of your own.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Agnes, thank you so much. I feel full from all your beautiful words. And I'm going to share a post now of some of your work here on the page. And thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
It was fun and an honor to be the first one.
That's right. The first.
That's sweet.
Okay, cool. So I'll talk to you soon. And thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks everyone. Thank you.
Okay, bye.